Hey everyone, welcome to the night sky this week for November 23rd. How you guys doing? I hope you had a good weekend. Did you guys do any stargazing? Did you get to go out? Did you have some clear nights here in Montreal? Wow, we've got now winter really setting in. It's really winter now. We've got snow on the ground. I'd say about 5 centimeters almost where I am. So it's a little bit more of a challenge to go outside and do some stargazing, but I'm hoping for some clear skies this week. We've got a lot of things happening. We've got things, the big thing we're going to be talking about is a new comet in the sky. Yes, a new comet that is heading through the inner solar system. It's getting a lot of buzz, and so I wanted to share that with you. Of course, the moon gliding through the sky, pointing us to some cool things to see as well throughout the entire solar system. The moon is really a big, bright object, and it's easy to find. And so if you're new to sky watching and you haven't done too much of it, the moon is a fantastic guidepost showing us all kinds of things throughout the sky. So thank you so much for joining me, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Give me a thumbs up, like this video, share it. And if you haven't subscribed or followed my channel, please do. I'll be posting videos every Monday on what you can see in your sky. And it doesn't matter if you don't have a telescope or you don't have binoculars, there's something for you to see as well. But if you do have some optical equipment, I'll show you some of those interesting things that will give you more of a wow factor, I think, in being able to find it and be able to see some of these amazing things in our universe. So without further ado, I've got the chat room open. I see Emily, John, Christelle, Lena, Rena from South Africa. Wow, nice of you to join us. I hope you have clear skies where you are and you get to see some of these cool things we talk about. Connie, the colder, the better, she says. Well, yeah, I mean, you get some nice crisp skies, not too much humidity in the air. It could really end up being some really good sky watching in winter like weather. Really, when it's really cold, you can do some really nice things. And for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, the coming winter skies is chock full of bright stars. There really are more concentration of bright stars in the winter months than any other time of the year. So that's really, really cool. So I see Fred there. Connie says, thanks for the heads up on on Mercury 2 weeks ago. Definitely, Mercury was something really nice to see as well. Enrique from Honduras. He says that he just had 2 hurricanes pass by here last 3 weeks. Looking forward to get some clear skies. Definitely. And here's Teresa from Chicago. Here in Chicago, it's been changeable from warm to cold, but a little snow so far. Yeah, we've been sort of lucky. And Pam in New Jersey, Cherry Hill, what's your weather like down where you are? We've been really filled with cold weather here in Montreal, Canada. And Linda hello from Edinburgh, Scotland. Welcome to the show, Linda. Hope you're enjoying it. And let's dive in right off the bat into what you can see in the sky. And I gotta tell you, the big thing is this comet. So we've got this wonderful comet that's heading through the inner solar system. If I enlarge this, let's see, I'll show you. This is a planetarium view of Comet Erasmus. Erasmus is the namesake of this constellation, is the astronomer who discovered it in mid-September. So just a couple of months ago, just over a couple of months ago, was the first time humanity really had a good look at this comet. And here I can show you in this planetarium view of where this comet Erasmus is currently. It is visible, by the way, right now through backyard telescopes and binoculars in the early morning skies. And I will show you with sky charts where and when to see it. Now's a good time the next few days before it gets lost in the glare of the sun. And then it will head around the sun and be visible again in December. But this is the lay of the land, folks. You've got Earth on the right-hand side. You can see the sun in the center. Of course, all these lines represent, these different lines are the orbits of the different planets. Red here is Mars, Earth is blue. Then you got Venus inside here, and then little Mercury very close to the sun. And you can see the placements of the planets. So Comet Erasmus, this is the current location of Erasmus early in the last week of November. You can see it's heading towards into the where the right between Venus and Mercury orbits, and heading into within the orbit of Mercury as the sun's gravity well pulls in on this comet. If we put it, everything edge on, you can see the orbit of the comet. It actually is coming from the outer part of the solar system. You can see its orbit is quite long. If I zoom out even beyond the orbit of Neptune and Pluto, you can see that it's a very, very long, elongated elliptical orbit that this comet has. And you can see if we go above the plane of the solar system, you can see how stretched out that orbit is. And guess what? It takes over 2,500 years for it to make a trip into the center of our solar system, in the inner solar system where we are. And this is why we haven't seen it yet. Modern humanity hasn't seen it. Probably ancient humans 2,500 years ago might have seen it. But this is our first look at this Comet Erasmus. And you can see I'm zooming in to show you where we are currently into the what we call the inner solar system, which includes Mars, Earth, Venus, and Mercury. That's the inner solar system. And you can see the orbit of Erasmus. So Erasmus is, you can see just off from our vantage point. So if we look at Erasmus right now, I'm going to go as if we're viewing the solar system from above the plane of the solar system, right? You can see all the tracks of the planets. And look at that track you can see my cursor is moving along this long curved orbit, and it whips around the sun. You can see, and this only takes a matter of a few days to do this. And Comet Erasmus is heading towards to actually tuck within the orbit of Mercury as it whips around the sun. And remember, the sun's gravity well is what's pulling on the comet, and that's what's giving us that view of the comet. Now, my friends at spaceweather.com, they great warehouse of information of what's happening in the sky as well. I invite you to check them out. And there they've got a submission from someone in Gerald Riemann, a very well-known astrophotographer, submitted his photo from Namibia on Friday morning, on November 20th, using his 12-inch telescope. He took this beautiful photograph of the comet. Look at that long tail. He actually had to stitch together two photographs to actually show the extent of the tail of Comet Erasmus. Comet Erasmus is what this is. Really just beautiful view. See this tail? So when we're talking about tails of comets, right? So we're talking about tails of comets. They are two main types of tails that comets have. One is a gas tail. The other one is a dust tail. So usually they're kind of separated. The gas tails tend to be more yellowy in color on average. And then you've got the gas tail that also can be in different color as well, blue, green, and such. And you can see in this beautiful photograph, the head of the comet, what we call the coma, and you can see it's brilliantly glowing. That's because it's really active. Things are melting off the surface of this giant dirty snowball. And this dirty snowball could be a few kilometers wide. And then what happens is that as it gets closer to the sun, as you can see in this animation here, that as it gets closer, the comet starts to melt. The head of the comet starts to melt. And that's when a lot of things start flying off. All the material starts forming a beautiful tail behind the comet. That's what you're seeing here, is that beautiful, this is all stuff that used to be part of the comet. The head of the comet right there, but it's all been shed off of it thanks to the sun's heat melting the coma of the comet. And that's what forms that beautiful tail. So this tail is really visible right now only through photographic methods. So people photographing the comet Erasmus are able to see that. And so what's really interesting is that now we can see this comet in our skies. And in fact, it's visible in our morning skies. So if we head down magically down to the Earth, here we go, and we see what it looks like. There we go. And we see where we're looking at. Let's say we find Comet Erasmus in our planetarium program. And you're asking me, I see some, wow, what is this program? I'm using, the program called Sky Safari. Sky Safari is a really, really good software. Highly recommend it. But there's a lot out there. So I'm just searching the database. This is where the comet is. There you go. So we're looking towards the southeast, about, say, 45 minutes, an hour before local sunrise. Let's just confirm that. We're going to confirm that. So put it at sunrise and an hour before sunrise. There you go. So what you're going to be seeing, your guidepost is going to be this beautiful, beautiful, bright white star. So if we set this for, let me set this for Tuesday morning, November 24th. Here we go. And we're going to set this for sunrise. There we go. And we're going to set it for an hour before local sunrise. That is the setup. So Tuesday, November 24th, this is where the comet is going to be. And this week, and you can see Venus will be a wonderful guidepost. So for using your binoculars, this is what you'll do. You'll be sweeping with your binoculars to the right of Venus. And you'll be looking for this fuzzy little dot. Looks like a little fuzzy patch, a little snowball hanging in the sky. And you can see also Mercury very close to the bottom of the view here. That's also something that is clearly visible right now in our early morning skies. So if we kind of shoot off to the next days in the week, you can see Erasmus, Comet Erasmus, is movement. So this is going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So what you're noticing is the comet is sinking and it's getting closer to the sun. So you will be losing the comet by the end of the week, early next week, probably. It'll get harder and harder to see, even with binoculars and particularly and with telescopes. So because it is following that rising sun that is coming up, and you can see that glow from the sun even at sunset. This is at sunrise. At sunrise, you'll lose the comet. So you need that sweet spot about an hour before your local sunrise is really the limit of where you can actually see this comet. But Comet Erasmus, it's around now, and predictions are, this is something that's really cool, is that predictions are right now that in the end of the first week of December into the second week of December, we might get another even better chance to see the comet. It'll be brighter, maybe magnitude 5. Right now it's magnitude 7 and 8, and it might get up to magnitude 5 according to some predictions. If that's true, then we can expect the comet to be very nice in binoculars, a good view. Not quite good enough for naked eye viewing, but a very good one in binoculars. So that's something to look forward to. Comet Erasmus this week, pre-dawn skies, looking towards the southeast, where the sun will rise is where you want to do all week long. This is something worth trying for. It's an observational challenge, and I'll be putting sky charts in the comments section and on my timeline, posting on YouTube and Facebook. So stay tuned for that. So that's it for the comet. I'll be posting a link to that beautiful picture from Namibia, fantastic, on spaceweather.com. Definitely want to do that. Check that out. It's really, really nice. So here we are, zooming out. What can you see? Where are we? Here is the moon, and you can see if we do a really wide sweep. Let me switch over to the planetarium program so you see what I'm seeing. Here we are. We've got our sky conditions, what you can see. And there's a really beautiful layout, as you'll notice, when darkness falls tonight on Monday, November 23rd, you'll have Jupiter and Saturn clustered together in the southwestern skies. High in the southeastern sky will be the waxing gibbous moon. And then to the left of the moon, you'll have Mars as well, pinning down the eastern sky. This is soon after darkness falls. Wherever you are around the world, you'll get this beautiful layout of these worlds that are part of our solar system. You've got Mars, the moon, Saturn, and Jupiter just beautifully laid out for you. Now, let me just get rid of that comet. There we go, comet. That was showing us the path of the comet in the sky, but I've got that so we don't want to get that confused with anything. But that's really the most beautiful layout I think you'll have all week long, is to see the moon kind of moving, inching towards Mars. So one of the really neat things that you'll have as well is if we can set this for a little bit darker sky conditions, and we can see, let's see, fainter planets. What you'll notice on Monday, November 23rd is moon parked next to the planet Neptune. Neptune is the 8th planet in the solar system. It's also known as an ice giant. Over 90 Earths could fit inside of it very easily. And it is a planet that's positioned in the constellation Aquarius. You can see the Aquarius mythological figure there. It's a fairly faint constellation, Aquarius, so don't expect any bright stars to guide you, but the moon will guide you to Neptune. Now, Neptune is going to be a bit of a challenge because of the glow from the moon. The moon is in the waxing gibbous phase, meaning it's growing larger in its phase. More of the disk is going to be illuminated as we head to a full moon at the end of the week. So it's going to be a challenge, but the moon will act as a wonderful guidepost in finding Neptune. Now, have you seen Neptune? How many of you guys have actually seen the 8th planet? It can only be seen really with binoculars and telescopes. It's too faint for the naked eye, Neptune, but it's a distinctive greenish blue star-like object in binoculars, and it has a little greenish blue disk in backyard telescopes. And the moon on Monday, November 23rd, the day we're taping today, it's going to be visible all night long. So if you've got clear skies on Monday night, 23rd, this is something you want to try to see. The moon is going to guide you. Now, what's really interesting, of course, Neptune is 8th magnitude, meaning it's a well-placed for binoculars. It's visible. Using the moon as a guidepost, you can see this is kind of the view that you would have in a pair of binoculars. Using the moon as a guidepost to the upper right of the moon, you swing your binoculars up and you will see that greenish blue dot. That is a planet that is so far away. It's 30 times farther away from the sun than the Earth is. That's why it's so faint. That's why it's just a tiny dot even through binoculars. It's incredible that we can actually see Neptune. And it's so far away, at 40 times farther away from the sun than the Earth is. It takes about, get this, it takes about 4 hours. 4 hours for the light, the sunlight that reflects off those cloud tops of Neptune to reach your eye. It's incredible. It's incredible that you can actually see it. So, Neptune is a beautiful planet. Of course, if we look at spacecraft like Voyager that swung by Neptune, what it took picture, beautiful. You can see it's encased with clouds eternally. It's completely shrouded in clouds. It's very similar. It's a sister planet to Saturn and Jupiter in that it's a gas giant, but it's so cool. We call it an ice giant. There's a lot of ice crystals also in it, and you can see the giant oval feature in this picture. That's what we call the great blue dot. Very reminiscent, if you know, of course, the great red spot on Jupiter, which is a giant cyclone. And that's basically what this is. It's a cyclonic storm on Neptune. And this was pictured by Voyager 2 back in 1989 is when this picture was taken of Neptune. But tonight, November 23rd, check out Neptune next to the moon. Very, very cool. And Teresa's asking about what time of the evening would this be? The best time to see it is really as soon as darkness falls. Look for the moon to guide you for this. So the moon will be up in the sky pretty much all night long. You can see it in this animation, high in the sort of southeast southern sky. And by late evening, very late evening, the moon will tuck it away in the western sky. So you'll have most of the evening time to check this out, to hunt down Neptune, to be able to knock that off of your bucket list. Neptune, the 8th planet in the solar system, binoculars, backyard telescopes. I will have sky charts in the comment section and on my timeline, as always, guiding you to Neptune. So what else is there to see? So, of course, getting back to the morning sky, very interesting. If we head to the next day, Tuesday, November 24th, in the morning, what do we have? Well, we've got 2 more planets that are visible. I just wanted to send that out to you. If you're an early bird, you get up early, you won't miss Venus, so bright in the low southeastern sky. You can't miss that planet. And as a challenge, try to see if you can spot Mercury, the innermost planet to the sun. The closest planet to the sun will be visible in that glare of dawn, the breaking dawn. And I'll send out a challenge to you with binoculars. How long after can you continue seeing it? Can you see it up until sunrise? Maybe just before sunrise. And of course, I highly do say this, got to put that out. Do not look with binoculars. Stop watching a few minutes before sunrise. Definitely, you don't want to, by accident, have the sunlight hit your eye through binoculars. You don't want to blind yourself. So that's very important. Safety, solar safety, extremely important. But see if you can spot Mercury in that glare of the dawn. You should be able to see it with naked eye. Binoculars will help you hunt that down. Maybe a half hour, 45 minutes before your local sunrise, Tuesday, November 24th, before dawn. So that's going to be something interesting. Pam talking about the moon. The moon has been very low in the sky this past week. Will it be higher up tonight? Yes, Pam, it is climbing higher and it's moving towards the eastern part of the sky. Every day this week, it'll be kind of chugging along across the southern sky. We'll be moving towards that eastern sky and hanging around in the evening longer. And of course, it'll be heading towards becoming a full moon by the end of the week. So definitely, Pam, that's something that you're going to be enjoying is the moon. And we're going to be continuing talking about the moon for this week. So this is the view November 24th. And if we move on to Wednesday night, November 26th, if we look at Wednesday, let's move over to Wednesday. Here we go. We're on Wednesday and we look at the after sunset. What you'll notice in the east is the moon now has moved away from Neptune. As you see here, we have Neptune. This is early. I'm going to just get it a little bit darker, an hour after sunset. Look at that. The moon will be parked in a very close position to our favorite planet, Mars, the red planet. So Mars and the moon will form a beautiful pairing. Again, Wednesday, November 25th, soon after darkness falls, you can start watching this. So the red planet will be parked so close to the moon. A wonderful pairing, something with binoculars, with the naked eye, just a wonderful sight, the two together. So don't miss that out. And Mars, where is it? It's in the constellation Pisces, the fish, with the moon very close to it, but technically in the constellation Cetus, the whale monster. And so those two constellations are quite faint. So there's not many bright stars to see, especially with the moon glow around. You probably won't see very much, but Mars will be super bright on Wednesday evening, and that'll be your highlight for the entire Wednesday evening, definitely. We are already over a month and a half out from Mars opposition. Mars was at its brightest and biggest in our skies back in October, and now it's been waning in brightness and how large it is in telescopes, its disk, but it's still a great sight, and the moon will be pointing the way to it. So what's really cool is if you have a telescope, of course, with Mars, you'll be able to see the southern polar cap on Mars, and you'll be able to see some dark patches. These dark patches are called mares on Mars, and we can see a couple of them on Wednesday night that are windswept rocky highlands on Mars. And the bright yellow markings are, of course, the windswept deserts of Mars. Very iron oxide rich, same chemistry as that happens with rust, the rust that you experience here on Earth with many things. That's what's happening. And look, if you had a big enough telescope, you'd be able to see a white spot on the disk. And some imagery taken by backyards, astrophotography through backyard telescopes have been able to spot a white spot. And that will be visible on Wednesday around 8 o'clock Eastern time. That is Olympus Mons, my friends. This, where the cursor is. Olympus Mons is the brightest, one of the largest volcanoes of all things in the entire solar system. I know this is like... it's incredible. It's as bigger than the state of Texas, this volcano. Is it active? We don't think so. Could be dormant, could be extinct. We haven't seen any activity from it, but it is incredibly large. It's the largest volcano in the solar system. It's visible on Wednesday night as a small white speck under high magnification through astrophotography. This is a neat target for those advanced amateurs. These are the volcanoes of Tharsis, 3 other volcanoes also visible on the surface. The largest canyon in the solar system, Valles Marineris, here on the side, is also visible on the disk of Mars through larger backyard telescopes. Incredible things. Now, something very cool as well, talking about Mars, we'll zoom out again. Just a reminder, Wednesday night, November 25th, you've got Mars next to the moon, the waxing gibbous moon, just beautiful, visible all evening. Now, as a little extra bonus, if you guys, I don't know if you're following what happens with NASA. NASA has a rover called Perseverance that was just launched a few months ago on its way to Mars. We're already under 100 days before it lands on the surface of Mars. This is going to be so cool. Perseverance is a giant rover. It's the size of a car. It's very much the twin of Curiosity that we've talked so much about, that's currently on the surface of Mars for over 6 years now. But what's very cool is that NASA is testing equipment on the rover. And as it's careening towards Mars and the interplanetary gulf of space that separates our 2 planets, over 63 million kilometers separate our planets right now. It's amazing. This is stuff that you can think about while watching Mars with your eye, right? And it takes, by the way, light 5 minutes for that light from Mars to reach your eye. Imagine that. So when you're looking at Mars in the skies above. And what's very, very cool is that NASA has been testing equipment on its rover. Here's an animation of what the rover will look like on the surface of Mars when it reaches there in February when it lands. And they tested a microphone on Perseverance. So here you can actually listen to the audio of the rover as it travels through deep space. And this is the actual audio. We can listen in. It's very faint. And you can hear that hiss. That hissing is an in-flight checkout of the camera and microphone system that hopefully will pick up the actual landing. They're going to use this microphone. Can you hear that hiss? It's nothing very dramatic, but it's so cool what it is. This is actually a hissing sound from within, embedded inside the rover is this microphone. I'll be putting a link to this so that you can read up on this article. It's very, very cool. You can hear that hiss. So they're actually testing out an in-flight checkout of the camera and microphone system that they're hoping they're going to use on landing day, and we'll be hearing the mortar shells that blow the heat shield away, to release the parachute system. All of that is going to be something that we can listen into thanks to this microphone. So I'll be posting a link to that, definitely, so you guys can check that out yourself. It'll be better. We could put your headphones on. Once you put your headphones on, it's just easier to hear that kind of stuff. So Mars, you can see it in the sky anytime this week, but the moon on Wednesday night will be parked right next to it. What a beautiful sight. So check that out. Now, so if we continue with our theme of the moon, but we move over a couple of nights later. So let's move over 2 nights later. We're on Friday night. Guys, Friday night, the moon is going to be parked next to another ice giant planet called Uranus. And I call it Uranus, my friends. I know, a lot of jokes with this planet, but I'm not going there. I'll leave that up to you guys. Uranus is going to be very close to the moon on Friday night. So Friday, November 27th. Mark that on your calendar, is the time that if you have not seen Uranus, the 7th planet from the sun, you can knock that off your bucket list. It's something that you can see with binoculars. And it should be no problem because the moon will act as your guidepost. And so the moon will be right there underneath Uranus. And the two will be very close, about 5 degrees apart. So what you're talking about with 5 degrees is it's really, you can use your fingers as a measurement in the sky. So when I say 5 degrees in the sky, that's the separation between the moon and the planet. And the separation of 5 degrees is about equal to about your 3 fingers held at arm's length, right? Okay, so if you hold it at arm's length when you're looking in the sky above the moon, so you put the bottom of your fingers at the bottom of the moon here, and then you have the 3 fingers, and that's where Mercury would be, approximately. I mean, we all have different sized hands, right? So we're not going to be able to see exactly like that, but it's a good rough estimate of where to be pointing your binoculars. So 3 fingers, put them stack them above the moon, and that's where on top of that is where you'll look for the planet Uranus, which I also call the green giant. It's a beautiful planet that has this definite, distinctive green color to it. And off to the far upper right will be Mars. Very beautiful. So again, this is Friday, November 27th. For those of you, my friends, celebrating, of course, Thanksgiving, you're together with the family and friends, or you're on your own. This is something really amazing to be able to do this holiday weekend, to see the 7th planet from the solar system. We're talking about all the planets in the solar system that are visible through the sky, morning, right? Morning and evening. So think about this. Think about this, guys. What I'm talking about. We can see the entire solar system, Mercury and Venus in the early morning before dawn, right? Then you see Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune all in the evening sky. And the moon will guide you to the hardest planets, which are, of course, Uranus and Neptune, to see them. Isn't that amazing? I think it's incredible. It's a great opportunity to see the celestial mechanics of our little corner of our universe played out for you. So that's on Friday. And then on Saturday, okay, here we go. Saturday, November 28th, if we move there, you'll see the moon parked very close. We're going to zoom in and kind of put it forward to later in the evening. So this weekend on Saturday, let me share that with you here. I've got it all set up for Saturday, November 28th. You've got the moon, near full moon, parked next to it, to the left of the moon, again with binoculars. This is an observing challenge. Look for the Pleiades star cluster. This is the Pleiades star cluster right there. And then you've got the red eye of Taurus the bull, Aldebaran, lower to the moon. So if they form a beautiful triangle with the star cluster, which is about 300 light years away, you've got the moon, which is only 1.3 light seconds away, and then you've got Aldebaran, which is about 66 light years away. And these three objects will be beautifully clustered together on November 28th, Saturday. If we move to the end of the week, Sunday, look at that. You've got the moon that is going to be shaded, if you notice, starting to be shaded. And that's because there is actually, believe it or not, a penumbral lunar eclipse that's going to be happening on Monday night, November 30th, morning of November 30th, Sunday night, November 29th, into the morning of November 30th, there'll be a slight, what we call a penumbral lunar eclipse. It'll be centered before dawn on Monday morning, November 30th, and it will be beautiful in that it will shade the moon slightly. So you'll have the northern part of the moon slightly shaded, the full moon. So it won't be as brilliant as it normally is. Now, I'm going to be posting all these details about the penumbral lunar eclipse separately in a separate video and separate sky charts as well with the timing for all of you. So stay tuned. Just mark that on your calendar. If you want to be an early bird or a late night owl, if you're out on the west coast of North America, this is something that will be visible through both North Americas, Northern Europe as well. Australia will also get to see this. I'll put out a beautiful map of the world of the best places to view the penumbral lunar eclipse on November 30th. So I'm telling you this now because when I usually film my Monday shows, the eclipse will be over. So we'll be unpacking more about the penumbral lunar eclipse in a separate video. So stay tuned to that this week. And I'll be also posting sky charts for that. But November 29th on Sunday night is the full moon. And it will be parked in the constellation Taurus, the bull, which is rising in the east late at night. So as the sun sets in the east, the moon will rise in the west. It'll be really neat. So check that out. So we've got the Comet Erasmus to see. We've got Mercury and Venus as a guidepost for the comet, and also separately to be able to see it any morning this week. We've got Jupiter and Saturn, Mars, Uranus, Neptune, the moon guiding us. We've got the Pleiades star cluster. We've got lots of things, guys. We've got tons of stuff for you to see all across this week. So watch for my sky charts. I love you guys being here. Thank you so much. I see all your posts. I'll be reading through your comments. If you've got any stargazing questions, send them my way on the Night Sky Guy page. Please do, if you like this video and you want to see more, give it a thumbs up. Share it with your network, friends and family. We want to get more people out there viewing the starry skies. Let's get everyone out there watching the skies. It really is a great way to give yourself some inner peace, giving you a few moments out of your day where you can unwind and just connect with the universe at large. It's something really cool. We can all do it, no matter if you live in the city or you live in the countryside, you live in the southern hemisphere, northern hemisphere. It does not matter. There's something for all of us in the sky. We share the entire sky, no matter where we are. That's our common heritage. So if you like these videos, give it a thumbs up, share it, follow me, subscribe to my channel. And until next video, I wish all of you guys clear skies. Bye-bye.